You know, there's a confusing maze of pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, supplements, and you just really don't know what to take. And trust me, in today's society, with all of the processed foods that we eat, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, your body is in a state of disarray, and it needs some help. And we're going to be joined right now by Michael Arnkvarn. He's the CEO of the CinGX Corporation. They are a leading manufacturer of nutraceuticals, and we're going to talk a little bit about the cutting edge of some of those products that are available from the CinGX Corporation. Michael, welcome to WELW.
Good morning.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, first of all, the proliferation of products that are out there. How do people navigate through that complex world of supplements and nutraceuticals?
Well, it takes a lot of education, and also it takes stores and retailers that can help people when they go into the stores so that they can be properly directed. But you really need to self-educate yourself, and I think that there's a growing tendency today, even in the medical field, for people to inform themselves about how they should be treated and what they should be taking.
Now, one of the things that I find interesting is the increased amount of diabetes that we're seeing in our population. Not just the older folks, but the age at which people are being diagnosed with the different forms of diabetes is dropped lower, and remarkably so.
Yeah, blood sugar is a huge problem, and it's a very complex issue. As you can imagine, that there are genetic issues. There are also our lifestyle. So I think it's no secret that all the processed food and everything else that we use, it really has resulted in this. And as you said, it's not just an older, heavier weighted people that are suffering from it. It's general in our society. 10% of the American population is diabetic, and 1/3 of the population is pre-diabetic.
What are some of the triggers for diabetes? Because, so many people do associate it with someone who is overweight, and yet that is not, the standard. What are some of the triggers that
Well,
that
diabetes, if you really want to talk, it has to do with the processing of sugar by your body. And so the whole key is insulin and how your body processes the sugar, whether they process it in fats or whether it's processed as glycogen in the liver, which it should be doing. But as we take so much intake of sugar, then we just put so much more pressure on the production of insulin in our bodies. And then there's another phenomenon that happens, and it has to do with insulin resistance. And this is why typically diabetes was always for the older population, and that was because as we become older, we become more insulin resistant. But the whole key in processing sugar has to do with insulin.
So just through the natural aging process, we become more and more resistant to insulin?
Yeah, basically, put it in layman's term, your insulin, your body becomes more insulin resistant.
That's an interesting point. Now, we've seen a lot of talk over the last decade or so about Far Eastern medicines, not the traditional pharmaceuticals and what have you. And a lot of people have become convinced that much of what is available through nature indeed can be used to help our bodies repair themselves or stay healthy. And your company focuses on some of those Far Eastern things like ginseng, for example. I understand that you have a product out, or several products, that indeed take advantage of some of this medicine and technology that is not necessarily mainstream.
Yeah, well, if most diabetics, they've known over the years that cinnamon is very beneficial. People who are diabetic,
that's another one.
Cinnamon on our food because it lowers blood sugar and everything else. So we've taken two ingredients that really work on blood sugar. One of them is ginseng, and one of them is cinnamon. And what we've done is we've taken these products and made extracts out of them. We've cleaned them up. Cinnamon in large quantities actually can be toxic to your body. So we've gotten rid of all the impurities. We put the combination of these two products. And what's really exciting about them is that these two products, they lower blood sugar, but they actually work on the insulin mechanism in the body. So we're talking about blood sugar, and blood sugar is directly associated to Alzheimer, directly associated to dementia. Again, diabetes is another one of the diseases that high blood sugars can cause. But another exciting thing that everybody probably doesn't know, but when you're when you have insulin problems and the body's more insulin resistant, well, what does it do? It gives you hunger pangs so that you go on binge eating. It also takes your sugars and they store them as fat. So being insulin resistant, as you know, when you get older, you always put on those few extra pounds. Well, this might be the root cause of it.
So it might be that we've been looking at this whole diabetes and insulin and blood sugar thing backwards, because we associate it with people who are obese, and that leads to diabetes and blood sugar issues, when in fact maybe it's the blood sugar issues first that lead to the obesity and then full-blown diabetes?
Well, yeah, it's chicken or the egg, but I think that's a pretty good analogy. And as you know, there are tons of diabetics out there, or people who have problems that are not overweight.
Right. And how many people it comes on, the onset of diabetes happens after 50, which is that triggering point.
Very much so. But again, we have an overweight population, and being overweight, it can be lifestyle, it can be hormonal, but we know too many people. We've seen it too many times. The people that are saying, "Well, I look after myself and everything else, but if I even look at a piece of cake, I'm going to put on a few pounds." Well, we think that maybe part of this problem might have to do with the fact that our bodies become insulin resistant.
Well, tell us a little bit about how people can find out about your particular philosophy, the CinGX philosophy, and where your products are available.
Well, our products are available at all the discount Drug Mart stores in Ohio, and they're also available online at CinGX.com. Or you can call us at the office, and we'd be more than happy to send you out some products.
And what's that number?
That number's 877-341-9278.
That's 877-341-9278. We've been joined by Michael Arnkvarn.
Yep.
He is the CEO of the CinGX Corporation. By the way, I love the way you say process. You can tell you're Canadian. Remind me of Mike Holmes.
Yeah, we're Canadian, and today is Canadian Thanksgiving. We have to celebrate Thanksgiving up here a little bit earlier because it's colder, as you know.
It's funny that you say that, because this was the day back in 1789 when George Washington declared today as an original American
Official
Thanksgiving
Day.
In
America, too.
We
So
decided
happy Thanksgiving.
We wanted to move it later after we must have discovered that you Canucks up there are celebrating the same day.
Oh,
all right, Michael Arnkvarn, the CinGX Corporation. Check it out. Some great new products that are designed to help you with your insulin problems, blood sugar problems, and hopefully keep you from having some of those symptoms that can really lead to major complications later in life, symptoms related to diabetes. Thanks for joining us this morning, Michael.
thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
7:30.
Catch Duke and the Doctor weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. Sponsored in part by CinGX Capsules. CinGX for better blood sugar, lower cholesterol, better memory, and vitality. Helping to keep you and those you love in better health. CinGX is available at all discount drug marts.
A Prisms Press production.